Welcome to the All Four Downs podcast presented by the CMG Central. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's CMG Central. You can also follow us on clovercrestmedia.com. And if you want to start your podcast, by all means, for a low price and a lot to be given, because we're all about gratitude this weekend. That's right. Tune into clovercrestmedia.com. Find out more about how you could start and be a voice of your podcast. I'm Ovi Muniz. I'm riding with a special guest from the NFL section of All Four Downs. Heck Love, he'll be joining me shortly. And big ups to Joe Aguirre. I hope you're feeling better, my friend. I know he had a lot to talk about, especially that I'm going to carry on with the head coach, Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss. Of all these rumors of him moving on to Auburn, that's going to be my final whistle. But first, we're going to talk about the top 25. What's going on with the top 25? A lot of questions, a lot of concerns, a lot of scenarios. Almost feel like we're in the NFL playoffs. Could this be? Could we narrow it down to see who's going to be the final four teams? We got that and much, much more. And I'm brought to you with Heck Love. Heck, thank you for joining me on a very short notice. I know we just got done doing the NFL podcast half an hour ago, but I know you're a big Notre Dame fan and everything else, and I know you also watch some college football. Um, how do you feel, man? The committee already announced the top four again. Nothing changed. But how you feel of this whole thing going down with the top 25?
I just wish that, we would get some new committee members. I mean, because us, casual fans of the game look from the outside looking in, we can figure this out much better than what they are. I would like to understand that thought process when they come up with these kind of things, because a lot of it doesn't make sense to any one of us. I mean, you being a Georgia fan, me being a Notre Dame fan, but sometimes this doesn't make sense to any one of us. And it makes you wonder who put these people in these seats to make these decisions, because my blood is already boiling for this Thanksgiving weekend for the NFL. Now it's going to get even worse with the top 25 in college football. It's like, come on now.
Hey, let's look at closer at the top 25. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. We know that both Ohio State and Michigan will play this Saturday, not only for that win for their division, but also a clinch to the Big Ten championship and more likely clinch their way to the college football playoffs. But LSU and USC moving up from 5 and 6. That is the most talk about here as to which of one of those teams will move in to the top four. We got that and much, much more. So trust me how I tell you this, that we do have a lot more. And again, comparison to my top 25 and what they have here, I would tell you right now, it could be debatable between Michigan and Ohio State. Now, if you look at it as the strength of schedule, maybe you can lean more to Ohio State. I got it. But the best defense, in my opinion, is Michigan. And I'm still not forgetting on what happened last season head to head. Michigan did beat Ohio State. They did. They don't have the same, I say, the roster. Like, they lost 2 or 3 people to the NFL. But Michigan's still intact as one of the best defenses in college football. Ohio State probably has one of the best offense, right? But when you put those together, Michigan and Ohio State technically have similar schedules, okay? However, you mentioned Notre Dame. Notre Dame's making more noise. Now they're back in the top 25, making Ohio State relevant. But regardless, Michigan and Ohio State will play each other. Should they lose and TCU wins, maybe LSU and USC wins, whatever happens this weekend, who you think is going to be in the Final Four?
Honestly, when you go talking about Michigan and Ohio State, I like Michigan's defense. I think the defense is going to really make a big difference in this game. We're not going to see a high-scoring game. It's the team who can make the most stops. I think Michigan can wind up doing this. Honestly, I see Georgia. I see TCU. I don't see Ohio State in this. I see Michigan and maybe USC in this mix in the top four. LSU, I don't know how they're hanging in there with 2 losses, but hey, it is what it is. I mean,
Listen, I could defend LSU for one thing. They did beat Alabama,
yeah,
which is a bonus. And I know that they lost their week one. It's almost their ritual of losing the first week of football because they lost to Florida State. But when you look at this, this team is getting better and better every week. Brian Kelly, this is his first season as a head coach. You know, you got to give props to that, which is similar to Notre Dame because Freeman's that first head coach, and yet they started slow too. Now they
yeah,
looking good. They
yeah.
found their identity. But LSU is making they're making it happen. Let's put it that way. Now, of course, LSU's in that mix because Ole Miss, they had lost, so that granted LSU to clinch their way through. But should LSU beat Georgia in the SEC championship, I think they're automatically in. Okay. But they still have a tough task regardless because they're facing Texas A&M. But I feel as though the committee is trying to push USC into there, but there's just going to be so much havoc going on this weekend. Perfect scenario, if Georgia, TCU wins and Ohio State wins, okay, expect USC to jump on top of LSU. I really think that USC will gain on top of LSU. I really do.
I,
But
I, I think so too.
right,
I mean, and what about Clemson? I mean, they're sitting there with 1 loss. I get it, but they're
but
going to be.
Clemson and Alabama are like two alike, man. Like there were so many games they could have lost, right? But yeah, respectively, yes, they got only one loss. But what's so good about the ACC overall? I mean, North Carolina had a better chance, yet they lost badly. So how does that elevate when it comes to Clemson, North Carolina, and the ACC championship?
Well, I mean,
Compared to the
yeah.
Pac-12, I think the Pac-12 is a lot better than the ACC.
I think right now, yeah, there's no arguing that. I can agree to that.
Right. And look at the whole entire picture here. Again, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. Okay, respectively debatable about Ohio State, Michigan. That will be settled this weekend. But let's look at the rest. You mentioned Clemson, but Clemson's underneath Alabama. Oregon still got a chance because if Oregon wins this weekend, they clinch their way to play USC for the Pac-12 championship. And then
Hmm.
Tennessee is out the door. Okay. Tennessee and Penn State, again, like anything passed from Tennessee passed on, their hopes and dreams are already gone. They're just hoping maybe squeeze themselves into a New Year's Six bowl or something like that. But what also bothers me is the four lost teams. The four lost teams in that list, which is Texas and Louisville. I don't understand why they're in the top 25. I really don't. Because you got teams like Coastal Carolina, 9-1. Now, it is not their fault that they didn't play the last Saturday. My condolences to Virginia for what they had to go through, but that game got canceled. But Coastal Carolina in the Sun Belt Conference, that conference alone has beaten the Power Five conferences. How are you not recognizing Coastal Carolina? Because of their schedule? Because Michigan and Coastal Carolina got similar schedules. If you want to say Michigan didn't play nobody, they just played their conference, so did Coastal Carolina. All right. Yes, their star quarterback is hurt, but they're still winning. What's to give? UTSA leading the way in their conference, Conference USA. Why they're not in the picture? Okay, let's give some respect to these conferences. All right, Florida State, I got them there at 8-3. Ole Miss is 8-3, but I don't have any four lost teams. I think if you already lost 4 games, regardless of your resume, you should not be in the top 25. That's just me. And then going back to Texas, every time they're in the top 25, they always lose the following week. It's like that's a curse against them. So I'm just saying it right there. I'm leaving it like that. I mean, we could vent some more, but the bottom line is if you were to pick the top 6 teams in college football, at least in that portion there, I believe that the committee got it right. So
Yeah,
let's see if they can continue getting it right for the next one.
because having Louisville at number 25. Why not Pittsburgh? Why not Pitt over Louisville? Because when I look at it, in the Atlantic Division, Louisville's in third place. Okay, Pitt they're in second in the Coastal Division, only behind North Carolina.
But they beat
So
Pittsburgh 24-10 during the middle of the season. So that's why you don't see Pittsburgh being ranked.
okay,
I got
well,
I give them props to that because Louisville, they lost to Syracuse, Florida State, Boston College, and Clemson. They just got a victory over NC State. But again, I'm still questioning as why should they be in the top 25 when you
yeah,
got other three lost teams that in their conference they're in first place. So we don't recognize people in first place because they didn't play against the power five.
no,
But
I
yet you
get it.
got Michigan ranked number 3.
And see with Texas, I think personally, I think they're keeping Texas in there because they still got a shot at playing for the Big 12 title game. You know,
It's a long
it
shot, but
it is, it
again,
very is
but
because
again, I mean, they lost, they lost. You know what I mean?
I mean, because they did get that
So
impressive victory over Oklahoma early in the season, the Red River Shootout. So,
right.
But Baylor could put all that to an end Friday morning, going into Austin, and they could shut down Texas and just knock them out of the top 25.
Well, you know what? You're already jumping the gun there, my friend. All right, you're jumping the gun because here we go. This is the Week 13 schedule for the top 9 teams here. Georgia versus Georgia Tech. That is a traditional rivalry for their last game of the regular season. All right, you got Ohio State versus Michigan. I love this is the game that I am anxious to see because this has a lot of meaning. Number 2 versus number 3. Okay, TCU versus Iowa State. That's a trap game. LSU at Texas A&M. I'm not sold of the Aggies anymore. USC and Notre Dame. Another trap game. Okay, well, we're going to revisit soon. Alabama versus Auburn. When I thought that maybe Auburn would turn things around with Cadillac Williams as the head coach, and now we got rumors that Lane Kiffin may be heading to Auburn. How those players are going to respond? Very, very tricky there. Then you got Clemson versus South Carolina, another trap game. Okay, a rivalry, something that we're going to visit soon. And then Oregon at Oregon State. That is a great game because both those schools are awesome, but it's a must win for Oregon should they get by, and so they could clinch the Pac-12. But if Oregon loses, that gives a better chance for Washington because Washington has to play Washington State, and if Washington wins, they go against USC in the Pac-12 championship. So there's just so much that's going on right here. All
Yeah,
right. So now we're gonna and again I'm gonna highlight this real quick. And the ones that's in yellow, again, the game is Ohio State and Michigan. I'm gonna tell you right now, in order. Michigan, I'm taking for the upset to beat Ohio State.
I can see it happening. I like Michigan's defense. I think that could happen. And I'm not trying to
Okay.
be a hater on Ohio State. I just think Michigan's defense can do it.
All right. Um, TCU versus Iowa State. I'm taking Iowa State for the upset. A lot of people are downplaying Iowa State. They think they're washed up. They got nobody. But if you look at TCU and the pressure that they're facing to try to stay undefeated, even the head coach said himself, it is hard to stay undefeated. Yeah, it is hard. And it's hard to, it's going to be even painful when you're no longer in the top 4 after this weekend. Iowa State is going to upset TCU.
I don't know. I'm leaning towards TCU on this one. I mean, I take nothing away from Iowa State. I mean, they got a good running back. His name is Jarrell Brock, I think it is. And then the quarterback Decker. They're doing pretty good, but I just think TCU is going to clean up what they did here in Waco last week against Baylor, and they're going to go out there and beat Iowa State.
All right. Hey, I got you. LSU, I think they're gonna wipe the floor against Texas A&M. I know they'll be at Aggie Town and College Station, but I just don't see LSU just falling flat on their faces against this game. They know how important this is, and especially they need this win to get inch closer into the top 4, and I think they will make it there. USC versus Notre Dame. This is the game that I'm telling you that if USC was to win, because Notre Dame is ranked high now, USC win pushes them over LSU.
I believe so. Seriously. I mean, USC got everything clicking on. They're clicking on all cylinders. We seen that last week. I don't think they even punted that ball maybe but one time or two times against UCLA. So yeah,
Yeah, but UCLA played
I
that
know.
game wrong, man.
Yeah, they
There was
did. They
so many
did.
mistakes of a Chip Kelly.
Yeah,
That
there
management or
was.
whatever it is, dude, if you're up 21-10 in the first half, why are you still throwing the ball when you could get closer to halftime?
No, I get it.
Keep the score the way it is. You decided to have two interceptions before the first half, right? And allowed USC to catch up. It's almost like it was planned. Not, not to speculate or anything like that, but I feel that's what happened. But I expect Notre Dame to play a good game. I'm actually rooting for Notre Dame to beat USC, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Notre Dame. I
Mm.
mean, if my boy Benjamin Morrison can get a couple of interceptions, that'd be great. We can get on the board here and take down USC in an upset.
Alabama versus Auburn. Should Auburn win in Alabama, Cadillac Williams will remain the head coach of Auburn.
Mm.
Okay. But there's rumors speculating that Lane Kiffin will leave Ole Miss. I don't know how these guys are able to report something that's not official yet. It's crazy how that goes. It is what it is. Clemson and South Carolina intrigues me the most. All right. Because you mentioned Clemson. What about Clemson with one loss team and stuff like that? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, my friend, that they may not be that one loss anymore because Clemson's been shady. Okay. And again, let me, I'm trying to pull this up real quick so I could like explain better here. But you got Rattler, who is a transfer from Oklahoma. This guy had one hell of a game last week. Ugalele, you don't know what you're gonna get out of this guy, and his value in the NFL just went from top straight bottom. Okay, I mean this guy even got benched. Okay, South Carolina is averaging 31 points a game. Clemson, yeah, 20 points, but then again, this is the ACC you're talking about. Now you're going against a team that's in the SEC, and yet Clemson has been dominant with South Carolina, but this is not the same team anymore. South Carolina demolished Tennessee 63-38. Clemson beat Miami, but who is Miami? That's all I want to know. They defeated them 40-10. They defeated Louisville, but they lost to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Okay, they should have lost to Syracuse.
Yeah.
And a game that I'm still scratching my head. Why was there a stoppage at the end of the game? Now, like a few seconds left of the game, there was a stoppage that allowed Clemson to regroup and stop Syracuse. Should have never happened. Okay. That's what I'm telling you. In this game, South Carolina is going to win. I'm a betting man right now. Promise South Carolina will win. And then finally, Oregon at Oregon State. When Oregon's in the situation, they never come through. It's been like that since they started college football. They made it to the first year. They haven't made it ever since. Oregon just cannot take advantage when good looks really good. Oregon State may more likely upset Oregon.
I believe Oregon State beat them 2 years ago because Oregon beat them last year. This is a old rivalry, over 128 years of football between these two Beavers and Ducks. I know at one time they used to call this the Civil War, but they put that to bed. But
Mhm.
yeah, don't count the Beavers out. They might build a dam around them Ducks and pull out the upset. Cause
Mhm.
more chaos. I can't pull any more hair out of my head. I ain't got none.
There you go. There you go. Anyhow, I am looking forward to this, man. I really do. This week is going to be a blast. And like I said, I'm only focusing on the top games right now because this
Yeah.
is the last regular season. All right, there's still a few more weeks, even though we're in week 13, but there's a total of 15 weeks here. And the fact that we got the bowl week and the Army Navy game that's coming up also. So like there's still more football. And December 16th really is the first game of Bowl Mania. So
Yeah.
stay tuned to that because all four downs is hosting the Bowl Mania challenge. So you want to get ready because there's a lot of rewards out there. There you go. There you go. There might be some gift card money package coming up, so you want to stay tuned to all four downs. All right, but
See,
Hector,
so
go ahead.
hey, everybody can see my face, so when they know who wins, they'll know I'm not a regular on the show. But when
Who
I
are
win
you?
it, who,
Who are you?
who,
Who?
who,
Who?
right here.
Nah. All right. You know where you at right now? You're at the bench, man. You're with Zach Wilson with the New York Jets. All right. I'm benching you
God,
right now.
put me in, coach. Put me in.
Ah, all right. Final whistle, ladies and gentlemen. Final whistle. And this one kind of a little burns a little bit, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to put it because we've been through this before. All right. Auburn looking for a head coach. L- There's so many places to look, but you want to go right next to your rivals to try to snatch up a coach. I don't understand that. I really don't. I must have missed something in school or something like that. But going against trying to find somebody like Kiffin, and I know Joe Aguirre wants to talk more about him, but this is his resume. He only had one season with Tennessee, 7-6, lost the Chick-fil-A Bowl, and then he got fired. Okay, went on to USC, which probably was the I don't know the scenario or the cards that was played well on his behalf. Had a wonderful season in 2011, and it just went downhill. Got fired again. All right. Kiffin was fired, and then there was a gap because now he was an offensive coordinator for Nick Saban. And for some odd reason, he rejuvenated himself, right? He's now like the next best thing because Nick Saban is like the god of college football, I guess. Did well for 3 seasons with Florida Atlantic. All right. It's cool like that. Congratulations. Everything went well. But then all of a sudden, now rumors are speculating that he's going to leave to go to Auburn. Because maybe you're doing something shady at Ole Miss that you got to jump ship to go somewhere else? Is that the reason why you had to have a team meeting earlier in the week to talk to your players about these rumors that's speculating? And then again, why would a reporter just jump out of nowhere and say, hey, he's moving to Auburn? He knows something. He got connections, and you're trying to downplay it. How many head coaches have we been through here in college football that say rumors are not true? I'm focused on my team. We're trying to get ready for the next game, only to say, hey, by the way, I'm out. I'm leaving just before a bowl game. Plenty of coaches have done that. Okay. Brian Kelly did it. He surprised everybody. He went out. He left Notre Dame. Okay. But there are other coaches, same old story. Nah, that's just rumors. And then all of a sudden, boom, they jump ship. Why? You have it so good. You're getting paid millions of dollars. Why would you go to another organization for what? What good is it when you already established a platform? I'm just left scratching my head like everybody else. Joe might say, stop lying, stop wasting the parents' time, stop wasting those kids' time. Okay. But this is a new generation of college football. You got the portal, transfer portal. You got all this, all that. What's next? Then when you go to Auburn, you're going to take everybody from Ole Miss to Auburn. I mean, that's what Lincoln Riley did. He left Oklahoma. Surprisingly, he left before the bowl season. See ya. Don't want to be ya. And took all his garbage with him. And now they think they're going to do something in the college football playoffs. Just to smack him in the face, be like, nope, ain't going to happen. Because regardless, the SEC is going to be the best conference in college football. It's given. And then at the same time, you're not beating Nick Saban in Alabama. It's just not happening. Today was a lucky season for LSU. But it's not going to happen. Auburn is still going to be the little brother of Alabama, and everything else is going to be in place until Nick Saban retires. That's how it's going to look like. And on top of that, it's not all about Alabama anymore. It's now Georgia and other schools that are getting wealthier with this transfer portal. So if Lane Kiffin wants to jump ship, man, just tell the truth, man. Just tell the truth. Why would a reporter from your local station report that you are leaving by Friday to the University of Auburn? And on top of that, how can you trust University of Auburn? They always lie. Oh, we never give away our position. We haven't done anything yet. Well, I tell you what, man. You know who's hurt on all this that doesn't deserve it is the actual interim head coach, Cadillac Williams. He's doing one hell of a job since he took over as head coach. They're winning. Ain't that what you want, Auburn? A winning team? They're winning. 2-game win streak going to Alabama. There you go. So War Eagles or whatever it is that you want to call yourselves, it's not going to be pretty, man. And then again, how much money is going to cost for all this to happen? Then again, like Joe says, yeah, I don't care about money. Y'all rich anyway, right? It is what it is. But tune in more next week because Joe Aguirre is going to say a lot more about this and all the other coaching carousel that's going to happen in the offseason. Damn right. Thank you for listening to the All Four Downs podcast. I'm Over Muniz. Thank you, Heck Love, for joining me on this special occasion. And have a great Thanksgiving, everyone. Because at the end of the day, let's show that gratitude, man. Let's be thankful for what we have and not what we really want in the future. Look what we have now. Thank you. Take care, everyone. And once again, happy Thanksgiving.